Us a call at 869-465-2555, Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. One solid hour of in-depth analysis of the machinery that makes our country tick. The Edge, cutting into the matters at hand.
The views and opinions expressed by participants and callers during this program are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or policies of ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation, its management, or sponsors. The station accepts no responsibility for statements made. Good morning, St. Kitts and Nevis, and welcome to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm Devonne Cornelius, your host, and thank you for joining me on the program for today. This conversation is being carried live here on 96.1 FM from Bastia, St. Kitts, as well as our social media platforms. Check us out on our Facebook page at ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation and via YouTube at ZIZ Online. The numbers to call when we open the phone lines are 465-1977 or 1903 or 662-8674. Again, the numbers are 465-1977 or 1903 or 662-8674. You're listening to The Edge for September 25th, 2025. Thank you so much for joining the conversation, and let's get right into the matters at hand. The White Collar Crime Unit of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, the Financial Services Regulatory Commission, and the Financial Intelligence Unit are advising the general public to be aware of job search scams being offered online through websites and social media platforms. For example, Facebook and Instagram and those other social media platforms. These scams specifically target and take advantage of people interested in opportunities to work from home, or those interested in earning extra funds in addition to their full-time employment. The local authorities have been made aware of persons who have responded to job advertisements posted on Facebook for unusually high or unrealistic wages for minimal tasks or jobs such as typing, preparing correspondence, or data entry. Such persons would be informed that they have successfully obtained employment without any screening or an interview and are required to provide their personal information, including banking details, to the employer. Some of the red flags that have been observed to be associated with these scams include the perpetrators use social media direct messages only to communicate, distribute tasks, and provide payment details without any verbal or face-to-face communication. Persons receive payment for services through wire transfers and mobile transactions. The persons are then instructed to forward a portion of their payment to other individuals via money transfer. The persons receive payment for services through wire transfers and mobile transactions. The persons are then instructed to forward that money to other individuals via money remitters. Persons are instructed to withdraw the money immediately after it is transferred into their account. The perpetrators would request personal information, including banking details, from victims before sending them an official confirmation of employment for the advertised job. The perpetrators do not share normal details such as the company website, social media page, or physical address. The job advertisement may include phishing emails that require you to access a link that is used to gain unauthorized access to your personal devices and information. If it appears too good to be true, it usually is. Be vigilant. This notice is coming from the Attorney General's office in collaboration with the White Collar Crime Unit, the Police Force, and the Financial Services Regulatory Commission, and the Financial Intelligence Unit. And they are urging people to be aware of these scam alerts. Now, the general public is advised that any money derived from these scams and subsequently used is considered money laundering. The general public is advised that any money derived from these scams and subsequently used is considered money laundering. Section 4 of the Proceeds of Crime Act, Cap 4.28, outlines that a person engages in money laundering if that person knows or ought to reasonably have known that the money or property derived, obtained, or realized directly or indirectly was obtained from some form of criminal activity. Any person who has received funds via a job search scam, as described above, should immediately contact the White Collar Crime Unit via email at wccu@police.kn or jerry.watt, so that's jerry.watt@police.kn, or you may call 662-4723. Persons are advised to avoid using the funds derived from these activities, and failure to report these activities could result in a money laundering charge and the penalties outlined in the Act. In other words, they are encouraging you to be vigilant. You're going to see all of these different phishing emails advertising jobs paying an unusual amount of money to do data entry or to type letters and emails and different sorts of things. And they're advertising that these jobs are available right here in St. Kitts and Nevis or within the region. And a lot of them are being advertised as remote work, as in, work from home. When you click on these links, they get access to your personal devices. They get access to your personal information. So when you see these things, if you see a link that looks unfamiliar, please don't click it, because you may just be giving away all of your personal details and they may access your financial details, your financial information. So please, you are encouraged, when you see these things, report them, report the page or whatever the case may be. But please do not engage in these things. And sending your personal banking information or your personal details to someone you don't know or someone you have never seen physically, in person, face to face, is absolutely ridiculous. But again, the White Collar Crime Unit is encouraging people to avoid these scams. When you obtain, or if you obtain money from these scams, it is considered money laundering. You are encouraged not to participate, not to partake, not to encourage, or whatever the case is, in these activities. If you see them, report them. It's 11:18. You're listening to The Edge on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining me on the program for today. The phone lines are open, and we welcome your calls at 465-1977 or 1903 or 662-8674. That's 465-1977 or 1903 or 662-8674. If we have no calls, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation here on The Edge. Stay with us.
Life's finest moments. Celebrate them with Skoal Premium Lager. Pure malt, pure class, pure perfection. Skoal, class and perfection in a bottle.
Get ready for Agriculture Open Day and Marine Expo 2025, October 2nd and 3rd at the Royal Bastia Valley National Park on the Kim Collins Highway. Under the theme, celebrating 30 years from soil to sea, the journey to sustainability. Entertainment by Small Act, Upset Squad, Dejour, DJ Shaggy, Grandmasters, the Road Match Champions, Collision, Real Right Entertainment, New Vibes International. Also in the building, St. Peter's Actors, SKN Bull, The Masquerades, and more. Open on Thursday 2nd from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Friday 3rd from 9 a.m. until midnight. Check out the raffle for just $10 to win a rabbit, a cattle, pig, or a goat. Enter the watermelon eating competition. And this year, St. Kitts will be hosting the OECS CARICOM Honey Show. So be sure to check it out. Local and regional vendors, informative displays, and much, much more. Hosted by Sugar Bowl. Admission children in school uniforms absolutely free. Without $5. Adults $15. It's Agriculture Open Day and Marine Expo 2025, October 2nd and 3rd at the Royal Bastia Valley National Park. You better meet me there.
Welcome back to The Edge on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining me in the program for today. The phone lines are open. Call us at 465-1977 or 1903 or at 662-8674. Call us and lend your voice to the conversation at hand. For those of you who may have missed this notice, the official funeral arrangements have been announced for former Governor General Sir Edmund Wickham Lawrence. A state funeral he will be accorded a state funeral, and the service will be held on Thursday, October 2nd, 2025 at 1 p.m. at the Wesley Methodist Church, that is there on Seaton Street, right here in Bastia. Then there will be a lying in state ceremony, which will be held at Government House on the morning of the funeral. That's Thursday morning from 8 to 11 o'clock, providing an opportunity for the public to pay their final respects. Furthermore, a national half holiday has been declared for that day, allowing citizens across the Federation to participate in this solemn national occasion. So the state funeral for Sir Edmund Lawrence is slated for Thursday, October 2nd, 2025 at 1 p.m. And the morning of the funeral will be a lying in state ceremony from 8 to 11 o'clock. And that day has been declared a national half holiday. Members of the public wishing to express their condolences may do so by signing the official books of condolence. These will be accessible at government headquarters on work days from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. until the day of the funeral, and at Government House from Thursday, that is today, on work days from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. until the day of the funeral. The government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis extend deepest condolences to his wife, Lady Lawrence, his children, and the entire Lawrence family. As we prepare to bid farewell, we celebrate the life of a truly distinguished son of the soil whose contributions have left an enduring mark on our nation. That is the state funeral for Sir Edmund Lawrence. Sir Edmund Lawrence was the founder of the St. Kitts Nevis and Anguilla National Bank. I was in National Banks the other day, and a lady behind of me asked me, well, she said, I didn't know that St. Kitts Nevis and Anguilla was a state. I said, yes. So before we gained independence in 1983, it was St. Kitts Nevis and Anguilla, hence the name St. Kitts Nevis and Anguilla National Bank. So we learn something every day. So Sir Edmund Lawrence founded the National Bank, National Caribbean Insurance Company Limited, and National Bank Trust, or National Trust, which is the group of companies, and more than 50 years later, still in existence. We had a caller? Okay, you can call us back, 465-1977 or 1903, or 662-8674. Call us and lend your voice to the conversation at hand. Prime Minister Drew and Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Douglas and the Sustainable Development Minister Dr. Clark are participating in the 80th session of the UN General Assembly. And for those of you who don't know, the UN General Assembly is the annual meeting of world leaders to discuss global issues. And front and center in terms of issues is climate change. Just head to the phone lines and we'll take our first call. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Host. Mr. Host, I really would want to place on record my deepest sympathy on the passing of the former Governor General, to his family and to the states. You know, I extend my deepest sympathy. He has contributed a whole lot to the development of our federation. And may his soul rest in eternal peace. Now, Mr. Host, I want to thank you for really facilitating me recently. And I didn't want really to come across as if I was beating upon the traffic department. In its entirety, I was dealing specifically with the court in regards to trial as well as investigation of the police. But the traffic department have come from a long way. 42 years ago, when I reflected and I was in the traffic department, I could recall I escorted the torch, those persons around the island, leading up towards independence. But that's why I reflected after 42 years, because I reflected on the court. Those magistrates, those senior seasoned police officers who were carrying out their duties seriously at the court, not with what I experienced. I mean, having had a summons to appear the 1st of August, was told to come back in a week time, which I did. Was told to come back the 22nd of April, which I did. And that is myself and my son who is the one that did it. And was told to come back November, the middle of November, skipping October. This is a serious accident. And I just find that this is not really the norm. And so I was dealing with that. But the traffic department have come from a long way. I remember when I walked there, the vehicles in St. Kitts and needless to had to be licensed in the first 3 months. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have no inland revenue department. We didn't have no inspection centers. We had to do all those things. We had to still deal with our courts, our road safety. You know, lots of work. You as a lazy person couldn't work traffic department in those days. And so we didn't have no traffic warden like what we have and street guard, crossing guards. So those were the days. But as time went along, start to modernize the traffic department. We had more vehicles, motorcycles, cars, and we was out there on the road. You know, it was much more. We had a traffic court in Bastia. Over time, the population of the vehicles have increased tremendously. And so the traffic department, with all due respect, they have a challenge in regards to the staff in dealing with the volume. But as I said already, the work was shared in the revenue department, inspection center, traffic wardens, and things like that. So I wasn't really calling out the traffic department, and they have a good education to the public in regards to the radio, in educating the public.
All right, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution to the program. All right, it's 11:31, and we are taking your calls here on The Edge at 465-1977 or 1903 or 662-8674. Call us and lend your voice to the conversation. If not, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation.
BetGage Sports brings to you iGaming, the ultimate dual gaming experience. Sports and iGaming in one powerful platform, live and legal. Tap your screen, place a bet, spin the reels, cash out fast. No delays, pure excitement. BetGageSports.com. Download the app and sign up today. Play responsibly. Must be 21 and over. Proud sponsor of Cricket West Indies, where a percentage of every dollar played with Cage goes to Windies for cricket and cricket development.
All right, welcome back to The Edge and ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining me on the program for today. It is 11:32. Okay, this clock is what, 2 minutes ahead? Okay, it's 11:32, and you're listening to The Edge. The phone lines remain open at 465-1977 or 1903, or at 662-8674. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. For those of you who may have just tuned in, earlier I shared a statement, press release from the White Collar Crime Unit, the Police Force and the Financial Services Regulatory Commission regarding some scams that have been taking place here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and they are encouraging the public to be vigilant, to be aware, and to pay very keen attention to the links that you click on social media, especially for those people who are not as tech savvy. And I say that, I mean, people who are tech savvy would know that you don't click an unfamiliar link, you don't access an unfamiliar email. And so I'm encouraging all of you who have mobile devices to be mindful of the links and the emails and different platforms that you go on that you're not really familiar with, because you may be just opening up yourself to them getting access to your personal information, your banking details, and information that you generally do not want to be made public. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Yes, Mr. Host, I crave indulgence. Really, I want to extend my deepest sympathy to a former superintendent's family, Superintendent Wilfred Richards, who already passed recently. I happened to work with him, with a real good experience, one of the best police officers ever come across here. So I extend sympathy to his wife and his family and all his colleagues.
All right.
Now, Mr. Host, I have a concern. Recently, there were 2 shootings in Halfway Street, where I reside. And in both occasions, I stayed somewhere and heard the gunshots. The first one in the evening, and this last one in the morning. What I am really experiencing and observing is young people letting off fireworks. And I want to know, because these must have guardians, they must have parents, uncle, sister, brother, adults, to tell them no. And even last evening, you're hearing these, and this kind of lawlessness, and I am wondering, where is our adults? The responsibility of these children, parents, being sensitive to know that we are in a zone now where the shooting is reality. And for them children to be laying go these things, it's confusing. You wouldn't know when one is a genuine shot. So I am really lost to see how far we have gone as parents, as a community that raised the children, that nobody could tell I just talk to them. And the police need to really come across more and, come in plain clothes, patrol in plain clothes and catch them.
If I may, caller, are you hearing me clearly?
Beg your pardon?
Are you hearing me clearly?
I'm hearing you, yeah.
Yeah, right. So I wanted to engage you on this. I hear you and I totally understand where you're coming from. But for me, I think it is easier said than done. And I say that because there are parents and guardians who do as much as they can to speak to their children who are delinquent. They try their very best, but I believe in most cases it has come to the point where they have lost all control. And so they throw their hands in the air and they tell themselves, I've done my best and I'm completely done. Do whatever you have to do. It's unfortunate, but I genuinely believe that is the case that we're faced with right now. A lot of these children, or let me say young people, young adults, are just doing their own thing. There may be people in their lives who are trying to get them to go down a better path, a better road. But they're long far gone, and they're not interested in coming back. For some, I believe it will take serious intervention. And I'm seeing where that is happening right here in St. Kitts and Nevis with the Elevate program, where a number of young men and women are being given a second chance. And so to those parents and those guardians who cannot do it by themselves, seek professional help.
But that makes sense. And if I have children and they're doing these things and then I call in the police, I call the police to speak to them. I take them down as a kind of deterrent. You understand? They can't just sit back and say, "Oh, they're tired." There's another alternative. Let them know this is it's an offense to look at these explosions. It's an offense, It's a nuisance. It's a criminal offense. Sometime in November they give them a little leeway to do it. It's a traditional thing. But all it now, so, especially a time when in this area here, it's reality that gun violence is a threat presently with us. Come on, man. Huh? Where is these parents? Where is these guardians? Huh? When you're done, you're going to blame this and blame that. We got to take responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to the program. You're listening to The Edge. It is 11:39. The phone lines remain open, and we're taking your calls at 465-1977 or 1903 or 662-8674. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Listen, you hear that song? It's Nostalgia on ZIZ Radio from 1 to 3 in the afternoon on Thursdays. On Nostalgia, everybody has a good voice, so relax and go in the zone with us. Get your songbook, look in the index, find the song that is playing, and sing along. Join ZIZ Radio every Thursday from 1 to 3 for Nostalgia. It's music to soothe you right where it hurts. ZIZ Radio, touching you with variety and style.
From the heart of ZIZ Radio comes a political talk show like no other. The Edge, with host Devonne Cornelius giving you his take on the biggest stories happening in governance today. Got something to say? Let's hear it. Give us a call at 869-465-2555. Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. One solid hour of in-depth analysis of the machinery that makes our country tick. The Edge, cutting into the matters at hand.
Yes, welcome back to The Edge on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining me in the program for today. It is 11:41, and the phone lines remain open at 465-1977 or 1903 or at 662-8674. Do you have a caller? 662-8674. A caller, thank you so much for raising that concern, which is a community concern. It is something that I believe is plaguing our community, but I'm seeing where efforts are being made to address it. And I say that because recently I read and I saw some success stories coming from the Elevate program, where they're really trying with these young men and women in terms of giving them a second chance and reintegrating them back into society, and so offering different training opportunities, job opportunities, and letting them know that it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. And so that program is doing a really good job in reaching those who are at risk, or those who wouldn't necessarily be given a second chance in a usual or traditional life, if you understand what I mean there. But it's doing great work, and so this is just me asking parents and guardians who need help to ask for that help. Oftentimes I see parents and guardians, they don't ask for that professional help. They don't, and whether it's professional help outside or help from a family member, whatever the case may be, they just don't ask for that help until it gets regrettable. But the concerns that you've raised, Carl, are valid, because I believe it is a concern that, of course, we all have. But equally, I must acknowledge that something is being done to address the situation, giving these young men and women a second chance at life. Most of them have children, and so giving them a chance to see and to help their children develop and grow and become responsible citizens. That is what we want here in St. Kitts and Nevis, responsible citizens, people who are going to make a meaningful contribution, no matter how big, no matter how small. That is what we want here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so programs like the Elevate program and other programs designed or implemented by the police force or social services, social development, are geared towards giving at-risk youth a second chance. These programs are to be supported. These programs are to be encouraged. Sometimes they are shunned. In the Caribbean context, we don't really believe in rehabilitation sometimes. We have a call on the line. Let's take this call.
Hello, Devin, good morning.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you very clearly.
Yeah, I'm calling you from overseas in the United States, in New York. And the same thing happening home, the same thing happening in America right now. All this epidemic is all over the world. And it can take the Almighty God to step in to call. I don't care how you talk to them young people. They have other influence that affect them, like television, and they got gang members and gang friends and stuff like that. And all you can do is throw up your hand and pray that the Almighty God will intervene and control them. Because it's already controlled all over. Mm-hmm. So that's my take on it. It saddened me to see that these things happen in the Federation, because I was born and raised in St. Kitts. And I had a good young life coming up. I was never a delinquent, always followed the law and stuff like that. But it saddened me to hear that going on in my home, and I'm very troubled by it. Mm-hmm. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to the program. It is 11:46, and we are taking your calls at 465-1977 or 1903 or 662-8674. And there are a number of factors for these type of things, such as social and family factors, exposure to domestic violence, where it normalizes aggression and conflict. Peer pressure, where you see influence from friends or gangs pushing risky or criminal behavior, and so they are pressured by their so-called friends to participate in illicit and illegal activities. One which may not be as popular, but one such factor could be an economic factor such as employment. We have a caller. Let's take this call. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning. Hello, caller. Yes, caller, go ahead. You're on the air. No, I'm not getting that caller. Call us back, 662-8674 or 465-1977-1903. So, right, I was saying, economic factors could be one of those deciding factors for one becoming delinquent or criminal. So, economic factors, poverty and inequality, limited access to education and skills training. Hence the reason why these programs offer skills training and educational opportunities, pursuing a certificate, pursuing a course, pursuing a degree. Then you have the community and the environment. If you grow up in a high crime neighborhood, it is not guaranteed but likely that constant exposure would affect you. We have a caller on the line. Hey, caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, go ahead, caller.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm hearing you. Go ahead. Hello. Yes, caller. Could you speak a little bit, please? No, I'm not hearing that caller. Please try to call us back at 465-1977 or 1903 or 662-8674. I'm not hearing you. I'm not sure if you're hearing me, but I was not hearing you very clearly there. So yes, and then weak community support systems. But then that is a debatable one, because all of us are familiar with the term, it takes a community. It takes a community, but I'm wondering if that is the case today. Because if you try to discipline somebody's child, they'll tell you straight up, "No touch my child, no hit my child, mind your own business." Perhaps that was a thing 30 years ago, or 20 years ago, 50 years ago. Not right now.
Just to add a little bit on what you're saying, Devon, you are so correct. In 2025, if you try and correct someone's child, that person's mother or father or auntie, somebody coming to look for you to call you out your name and tell you things about yourself that you don't know, all because you saw a child acting in a manner that they shouldn't have been. And when it was years ago, as you said, you would have gotten a cutting on the road from that person. They would have called your mother and told you would have got a cutting when you got home. Look sharp, your grandmother, your uncle, your auntie, whoever heard about it and decided to chime in. So that was then. And back in those days, the crime rate was way less. Murders wasn't something you was hearing in the teens or the 20s or anything like that. And that has gone to waste. And it's not just in the communities. Look at the schools. Now, in the schools, the only person who has the authority to punish is the headmaster. Once ago, you're in school, any teacher see you acting out, that teacher had a right to punish you. Those things don't happen now. And then we hear people saying, "Oh, we are the parents, we are the this." You have to remember, when school is out, a child spends way more time with a teacher than he actually does with the parent, because you can't count in when a child is sleeping. And that teacher can no longer correct that child as it should be. And to me, it's very sad.
We have a caller. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. Devon,
Yes, go ahead.
from the time since we get independent, a lot of laws being changed and a lot of discipline have been told to do. One, you just couldn't pregnant and married. Two, everybody was everybody. everybody was looking over somebody that was principal. Today, nobody had a principal or nothing. We go, children and go to school, the teachers them look out to the children and they continue them with the learning. The slow one, they push them aside. And then same slow children go distract those adults. When you look at next thing happen, some of them left primary school and can't even write the name. Because the teachers them in primary school and look after them. And they got a behavior go right to the school to them. And a lot of times the teachers fail the children in school because some of the parents them ain't no better. So the children go to school alone. But to the end, the teachers them fail them because they look at you. Oh, who is Devon? Devon needs nothing. So the child will punish. But just some teachers will say, I don't look out to the child. When you see principal in a go, everybody was a bush fence. Everybody eat out of one pot. Well, after independence, everybody started to run up wall. And when they run up wall, they separate themselves from you. And after separation, me come. Everything comes with separation. That's my input.
Hey, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to the program. It's 11:53, and I think we can take at least one more call at 465-1977 or 1903-662-8674. Again, caller, thank you for that intervention or contribution to the discussion. But yeah, you know what you were saying earlier, Cupid, is pure facts. No, we're not getting that. We're not seeing that because a lot has changed. A lot really has changed. As you said, maybe 20, 30 years ago, the community helped to raise the children. And so neighbors played a role in raising their neighbors' children. You know, when your mother and your father gone out to work or whatever, you know that you could look forward to whatever help from Miss Mary down the road. She gonna send for you and say, okay, come and spend the day with us while your mother and your father is at work. And so you are brought up with that discipline, that level of respect. That is long gone today. It is absolutely missing. And it's the reason why I said there is this weak community system that no longer exists. And so that is why we're spending so much and we're doing so much with these at-risk programs, because we don't have that community support, and so that support has to be derived from some other avenue, some other platform. If we could find a way, and this is something that all of us must commit ourselves to, if we could find a way of going back to the community, helping to raise our children, we may begin to see some very positive results. But it is easier said than done. You've been listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I've been your host, Devonne Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining me in the program for today. Until next time, you guys stay safe. Oh, we have a caller. Let's take this final call.
Yeah, Devon Megan.
Yes, caller. Go ahead quickly.
You know, when children get to the problems and they say that the teachers in the class can't correct the children, that's when all hell breaks loose. And I tell a minister when he went to Canada, and he said that is in the past now, that children got rights. I said, mind them not right, you know. The teachers who teach them in the class, go teach them when they do wrong, the teachers don't bang them. You don't send me to along to no office, because the head teacher on no machine. The head teacher got the school to run. The head teacher got call to take. The head teacher got this to do. The child, he whole lesson fast, and that's why they know nothing. Because 20 of them done by the head teacher. I will to the journey.
Well,
when the teacher in the classroom with them supposed to correct them there and then. But when they get children right to do this and right to do that, the children them do as they like. And that's what we're supposed to do today.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to the program. You've been listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. That's a conversation that we're going to continue because it is debatable. And so next time, coming up now is our midday newscast. Stay with us.